Now, Ash Atala, the BAFTA award-winning TV producer behind The Office, has said that he has overheard white people saying they can't get on TV anymore because of the ever-expanding diversity agenda. People who do the hiring are apparently more focused on box ticking, on getting more brown faces on screen in a bid to be more representative. And this feeling isn't just in the arts. In fact, I'd hazard a guess that many white people I know from all walks of life are starting to feel that when they go into an interview, there's a very real prospect that a less impressive candidate will get the job just because they tick the right boxes. And there's some truth to it. The odds are rapidly increasing in favour of people who look like me and less in favour of people who look like my co-host. Patrick, a blonde-haired, or some might say ginger, white middle-class man. Now, my feelings on this are mixed. I do think representation matters to some extent, and not just representation when it comes to race. It does matter when you can see people being successful who come from your class background or your gender. I remember watching the fanfare after Boris Johnson won the election in 2019. My daughter, who is sadly subjected to daily politics by virtue of being my daughter, turned to me looking baffled and said, "Mummy, who's that?" I said, "That's our new Prime Minister, darling." "But how come he's a boy?" she said, confused. "Well, what do you mean?" To which she replied, "I thought only girls can be Prime Minister." And then it occurred to me that my daughter, until that point, had only ever seen a British Prime Minister on TV who was a female, who was a girl like her. All that time seeing Theresa May on TV in the background at home, which some would describe as a form of torture, had made her feel that being Prime Minister, being a female Prime Minister, was a norm, a default. Yes, Theresa May made my daughter believe the job of running the country was for people like her. So yes, I do think representation matters. But I also think the diversity agenda can, and indeed has, gone too far. If I was ever offered a job in reality somebody else was more cut out for because I ticked a box, I'd be traumatised. I would say no thank you and be on my way. It's bad enough employers putting representation over meritocracy when hiring people, but what about being the person who got a job because of some diversity initiative? Imagine people having to constantly question whether you really deserve to be where you are. Imagine having your white colleagues feel resentment as you get special treatments while they're forced to go and do unconscious bias training. I don't want that life. And if staying well off the diversity and initiative inclusion fast train to the top means I have to work a bit harder to prove my worth, then I'll take the long route.